Hi everyone. So today we're in the greenhouse and I'm going to do some potting on, which I'll show you in a minute. But just to catch up for those who want it, yesterday I was at the allotment and I got all the rest of my potatoes in. So it's a good time to be planting your potatoes. I sowed the last of the onions that I hadn't found space for before, and I planted out the broad beans that I sowed in the greenhouse here about a month ago. So they've gone into the ground now, and I've covered them with a fleece tunnel up there because there's a lot of birds that would like to eat them. So they're covered up for the time being, and I'll put a photo in of those. But what I'm going to show you now is potting on. So I've got here a pot full of lettuce seedlings. This lettuce is called Fat Lazy Blonde, and you can see they're getting quite big now. They've got at least 2 of their real lettuce leaves each. So underneath you can see the little seed leaves here next to my finger, and then on top of those they've got 2 real leaves. And when seedlings get to the stage of having 2 of their real leaves, it's usually about the time that they need to be moved. And also, if you look at the bottom of the pot, I have lifted them out, but you can see the roots are starting to make their way out of the pot, so you know that they're running out of room. So we need to get those potted up. So I'm going to do with these, because lettuce are quite robust and they don't really mind being pulled about too much, and I'm going to take them out of the pot, and then I should be able to carefully extract individual seedlings without doing the roots too much damage. You can see they've got a lovely root system on them, but they will have run out of nutrients in the seed compost, so they need to go into a new pot. So I've got here some multi-purpose compost, and I'm just going to put that into a pot that's a little 3-inch pot. Make a nice deep hole in that with my finger so that I can carefully lift this seedling by the leaf and lower that nice root system into the hole, and then gently firming around it. So you want to, when you're dealing with little tiny plants like this, you want to touch them, hold them by their leaves rather than their stems. Because at this stage, if a leaf breaks, then you only lost 1 leaf. But if a stem breaks, you've lost the whole plant. So I'm going to gently tease that bundle open, look, and then start gradually separating them out. And I'm obviously going to have far too many seedlings here. So some of these, well, ordinarily some of these would go to my friends for them to pot on, but because I've got no one I can pass them on to at the moment, some of them will go in the compost. Okay, so that's going to take me a little while, and then a bit later I'll show you some of the seedlings in the propagator that I planted last week, and we might pot some of those on as well. Okay, so I've planted up a tray of 12 of the lettuces, and they'll grow on a bit and then they'll be planted outside in the garden bed. Still got loads of seedlings left over, so I'm going to plant a row here in the greenhouse, and I'll plant them quite close together, and then as I thin them out, I'll let them grow a bit for a couple of weeks, and I'll start thinning them out and eating the thinnings, and leave probably just 2 or 3 lettuces to grow on in here. So that means we'll get a little bit of an earlier crop of lettuce from planting these in the greenhouse. So this is much, much closer than you would have the plantings if you wanted them to grow to full size. But we'll take them out slowly and eat them. So I just wanted to show you the seedlings, and the seeds that I planted in the propagator. Whenever that was, terrible at keeping dates, 2 weeks ago, maybe a bit less. So you can see that they're all growing strongly. So up until today, when the weather's really warmed up, they've been inside and they've had bottom heat until about 2 days ago, when I turned that off in preparation to bring them out here into the greenhouse. So you can see that they're all growing strongly except the padron peppers, which didn't germinate. So I haven't got any of those. But you can also see what I mean by them becoming leggy. So these are dill seedlings, which are really fragile. And you can see they've got very, very long stems. So I'm going to have to handle those super carefully when it's time to pot them on. There's also something else in there, look, which isn't dill. So that will come out. The tomatoes are also quite tall, and the cosmos, but they're a little bit more robust, and actually when you pot those on you can put their stems deep down into the soil and they'll form new roots from their stems. But what's also interesting to see is that all of these are showing their seed leaves, which are different from the leaves that they will make as they grow. And you can just see on these tomatoes here that they're starting to form their real leaves, which look like tomato leaves. So when seedlings first come up, the seed leaves are always different to the last leaf, so sometimes it's quite hard to identify what they are unless they're labelled. So those are going to stay now in the greenhouse. Now the weather's warmed up and the nighttime temperatures are higher, but I will put the cover on them at night, and probably in another week they will have their full leaves, and I will be able to pot some of those on, and I can show you how I do that. It's slightly different because they're a bit more fragile than the lettuce we've done today.